Hey everybody, welcome back to A2 Amazing, the channel where we talk all things Amazon to Amazon flips. Today we are going to answer the question, is A2A safe? Is Amazon to Amazon flips safe? I mean, you heard me say we just buy stuff from Amazon and we sell it back on Amazon. That sounds kind of shady, don't it? I mean, is that going to get us arrested, man? Are you even allowed to do this? And even if you're allowed to do this, is it okay to sell against Amazon? Aren't they going to hog the buy box and they're not going to let you get sales? How is it even possible to compete against Amazon? Well, let's tear down those two myths today. I want to share a few things with you. Let me switch over to this screen here. If you've ever had to deal with inauthentic complaints and various IP complaints, you might be familiar with this kind of screen. And what's really cool and interesting to see on this screen is that there are places in this process where they ask for Amazon order ID numbers. So for inauthentic complaints, they have written into their submission forms order ID numbers from Amazon. And it's in multiple places. And when you check that you're going to include an Amazon order ID, they give you this box here. And what's really cool about this is often you don't even have to submit invoices. Often you can just put in the order ID number and submit it, and your inauthentic complaint goes away like poof, it's done. I'm dealing with multiple inauthentic complaints right now from things that were not A to A flips. These are RA purchases and OA purchases. And they are a pain in the butt, man. Multiple submissions. I have legitimate documentation, but resubmit, appeal. It's a pain in the butt. With A to A, this process is really, really nice, really, really easy. But what's cool is they're admitting here that like this is something that's done. This is fine. It's not a problem. Now, again, let's look at another one. Ungating. If you are trying to ungate for a brand to get approval to sell a specific brand, often you'll see this here as well if providing an Amazon invoice or order confirmation. Now, granted, I would not recommend just diving into A to get ungated because you're still dealing with button pushers and oftentimes they're being rejected. But what we see here is proof and admission that this is a completely acceptable practice in their eyes. But Ryan, man, for real, like, aren't you just scared to sell against Amazon? Like, aren't you scared? No, man, I'm not scared. Amazon is a customer centric company. If you have inventory that is competitively priced and it is closer to a customer than their inventory, they're going to send your inventory. They're not just out to make sure you don't get sales, right? They are out to serve the customer. Now, what might get hard is when they have a listing where their inventory is extremely distributed throughout the nation in warehouses all around the nation, but they're not hogging the buy box from you. Again, they're still serving the customer what's going to be best for the customer. So you might have to be priced more competitive in those instances, but that's no different than competing against any other seller. Something else that is interesting to look at is this statistic. You'll see people will say, "Oh, you can't sell against Amazon because when I look at listings, it says that they get 100% of the buy box." This is called buy box statistics. Now, I'm a big fan of data. I like to dive into any data that Keepa gives us. And I will look at some of it really closely, some of it I'll glance at very quickly. But this is probably one data set that I never look at. If you understand how this data is compiled and where it comes from, it's very unreliable data, and you can see listings where Amazon has 100% of the buy box, but the offer count is going up and down like crazy. What does that tell you? It tells you that people are coming on with inventory, they're selling through their inventory over and over and over again. So when you see this, don't put a lot of faith in this statistic. Again, you have to kind of understand how this data is compiled. Maybe we'll go into that, dive a little deeper on that later, but just high level now, I just want you to understand, don't put a lot of stock in buy box statistics. Something else that's cool that you can view on Keepa, if you look at a storefront, there's a section that is called Top Overlapping Competitors. Maybe you can't see that. At the top, it says Top Overlapping Competitors. And it will give you a list of the top storefronts that store is overlapping with. So you're looking at their entire catalog, and these are the sellers that have overlap in those catalog listings. So this seller, for instance, 30% of their catalog, Amazon's on their listings. Now, these specific sellers I pulled, these are very large sellers. These are 7 and 8, and one's even a 9-figure seller. What's interesting to think about here is these are OA sellers, these are RA sellers, A to A, and a little bit of wholesale. None of these people focus on wholesale. These are generally OA and RA sellers. And what's interesting to see here is out of these sellers that I pulled, 30% overlap of their catalog with Amazon, 36%. Another 30%, 23%. So if these large sellers are not afraid to get on listings with Amazon, that should give you a little bit of confidence, a little bit of warm fuzzies that you could do it too. So I think that's it for this one. Short and sweet video. There are some things we have to consider. Yes, you can do this. It's not against terms of service to do this. You're not going to get arrested for doing A to A flips. You're not going to get your account shut down. Jeff Bezos isn't going to show up at your door. Now, there are things that are against Amazon's terms of service when it comes to this kind of thing. So there's pitfalls, and we are going to teach you exactly what those are so that we can work within terms of service. But that is a subject for another video. So you guys stay good, and we'll catch you on the next one.